Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? It's time for The Dirt Show with your favorite host, The Dirt Guy. And it starts right now.
Yeah! Welcome to The Dirt Show. Woo! That song pumps me up every time I hear it. Hey, welcome to The Dirt Show. I am The Dirt Guy. On this show, we talk about random crap that'll change your life. It's educational, it's entertaining, it's empowering. So if you're into that sort of thing, why don't you just go ahead and subscribe, and then don't forget to push that little bell icon so you don't miss future videos. And if you're not into that sort of thing, what's wrong with you, baby? What's wrong with you? Hey, we are real excited about today's broadcast. Now, I probably always say that because I love to see myself on camera. But here's the deal about today's broadcast. We have our very first ever special live via satellite guest on the show right now. Miss Cyndi Brown from Everybody Keto and Supposedly Chic is going to be on the broadcast in just a few minutes. Just want to point something out, though. If you guys remember my little buddy.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to my live show.
Shruggy up and quit on me, and we're renegotiating kind of his contract. But I convinced him to come in and set up this simulcast. Now, I'm not certain if he did a good job or if we're going to get booted. So let me know. First of all, going over to our live chat room. Where is everybody? Hello, we're chatting. Are you not seeing me? You guys don't care that the Dirt Show is on because it's on live right now and we're streaming. I'm just going to start it off. Joe G in the house for the Dirt Show. Joe G hasn't missed any episode of any show that my wife Cyndi and I put out. So there you go. Love you, Joe G. Peace, baby. All right. So again, I'll tell you a little bit about what's going to happen today on the broadcast. Last week, I kind of schooled y'all a little bit about how our food's got poison in it. And it ain't conspiratard, baby. It's the truth. I proved it. We got some pesticides that you're eating, and then genetically modified food. You don't even know what the hell you're eating. Once you change the genetic code, it's something else. And then thirdly, we sort of jumped a little bit into carbohydrates, how they become sugar, and how that actually leads to cancer. And I didn't make that up either. So that was, I'm going to say, that was the vinegar episode. It was kind of harsh. It was a little on the darker side. But this time, we brought the sweet stuff. Now, Cyndi and I were chatting sort of off the air before the show started. She's looking good, son. And I'm not just saying that because I know her intimately. These are the jokes. So anyway, you got that coming up. Everybody Keto. You will not believe it. And then you will. And your life will be enriched in a good way because of it. Hey, you know, we're doing this thing where it's 52 fun facts about the Dirt Guy. And I think we're on number 5. So let's just do that right now. Fun fact number 5. I am so full of myself that I can't get to nobody else, baby. Fun fact number 5. I have actually landed a crippled aircraft. I'm not talking a flight simulator, baby. I'm not talking about a pipe dream or a video game. I'm talking I landed myself a crippled aircraft. Here's the deal. I'll make it quick because we got a lot of show to get to right now, okay? Because Cyndi is sitting in her studio in Uzbekistan waiting. Anyway, there's these things on an aircraft called flaps. When you're coming into land, you drop the flaps, makes more lift on the wing so you can come in slower and gently and have a safe trip. Bye-bye. On the aircraft that I was flying, I was coming into land and the flaps quit working. They didn't go down. At the airport I was landing at, kind of a shorter runway. You need the flaps, baby, to slow down before you hit that son of a gun. But I didn't have any flaps. So I called the tower and I said, hey, I'm a student pilot soloing. I got no flaps, baby. They said, are you declaring an emergency? And I said, no. I'm bringing this in. I'm coming in hot, people. I came in, landed the aircraft, used every inch of that runway. And to this day, I am known as, actually, they don't even remember who I am. Once I quit paying them, they forgot all about me. Boom! Fun fact, number 5. I do actually have one quick announcement, and then I think we can move along. By the way, Ron Marsh, welcome to the broadcast. Ron from Ron Strange and Things, sitting over there in chat with Joe G. For the record, let's go shout out right now. I'm skipping to shout out. Boy can dance. Hey, a shout out to the Model Railroad community who showed up for my live broadcast. You guys rock. I love the Model Railroad community. Hey, take a look at this. Old Ron Marsh over there. He's like, new nickname, Flaps Brown, mostly because I flap my gums, right, Ron? The jokes are just coming early, people. All right. Hey, Ron, thanks for that. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Now for one of my other funky deals, for an announcement. The special guest we're going to have here in a moment, if I ever shut up, she and I do a live broadcast Sunday night, 6 o'clock. It's called Dirt Chic Unscripted. Her personality, my personality, random things. Whoa! So far, it's a big hit. Lots of people love it. It's another live broadcast. I'm involved in 3 a week. She's also involved in one now, too. So here's the deal. Down in the description, there's a link to the Supposedly Chic channel. That's where you'll find Dirt Chic Unscripted. Also, the most important link for today's broadcast is the link to Everybody Keto YouTube channel. You guys will be blown away by what happens over there. So anyway, sidebar, look at my eyes. I'll just have you know, I stood on a job site all day today in the street. I was running a backhoe. We were digging in the street, saw cutting. My eyes are so sore right now. Man, I look like the Crypt Keeper. Okay, enough of that. Enough of the fun stuff. Let's get to the good stuff. Listen, seriously, we have our very first ever live in studio guest. Well, she's not in studio. She's in her studio. Cyndi Brown, Everybody Keto. Cyndi is a certified keto coach. She walks the walk, and I have seen the before and after pictures. I've seen the before and after kind of energy level. It's amazing what happened. She actually hooked me up on the keto. So I think without further ado, let's just jump over and say hello to Miss Cyndi Brown. Cyndi, are you there? I can't hear you, Cyndi. I can't hear you. I couldn't hear Cyndi because I have her mic muted. What a dumbass. Sorry, Ms. Brown.
That's quite all right, Mr. Brown. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Hey, if you guys can't hear Cyndi, can't hear me, things aren't right, let us know in chat because Shruggy set this sucker up. Hey, Cyndi.
Hi.
Again, welcome to the broadcast. Good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So I told everybody that I saw you in advance and you looked real good. And
Well, thank you.
well, it's the Dirt Show. There's only so much, right? You
Right.
awesome.
Right.
So listen. Last week, I don't know if you saw the show because only like 5 people did, but I was talking about genetically modified food, pesticides, and chemicals. You know, the Monsanto thing.
Ooh, wonderful topic. Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do.
So the Monsanto thing. And then I was hinting at and talked a little bit about a sort of high carb or low carb. Whoa.
Oh,
Ixnay. Low carb, high fat diet. Now, I'm not the coach. I'm not the expert. I know what I eat and don't eat. You're the expert, at least as far as this show's concerned. So,
all right.
Before we get to actually into it, would you just give us a couple seconds? Just tell us about yourself. What do you like? What's your normal kind of life like? What do you do for a living? You know.
Okay. I'm a wife and a mom. I have 5 children that are grown and out of the house. So we've replaced them with 4-legged fur baby terriers that are sometimes just as rambunctious. I am a full-time sales rep. I am a full-time YouTube creator, and I am also a ketogenic living coach. So my days are pretty busy.
So I think I heard full time in there like 3 times. Is that true?
That is true. That is true. So I even have to drink my water when I'm doing interviews because I don't have time to drink water any other time.
Okay, if you're so full time, why don't your eyes look like mine? It's got to be a keto thing, right?
It's a girl thing, yeah.
It's a girl thing. That's a different show. All right. Hey, well, all right. So we know a little about you. Digging having you here. Let me get right to the good stuff, okay?
Let's chicken.
What is keto? Can you explain what it is?
What is keto? Keto is that magical buzzword that everybody has been hearing either on the television or on YouTube or on social media. And quite honestly, keto is a short term for ketosis or for a ketogenic living lifestyle. Essentially, it is when you convert your body from living and working and burning glucose to burning fat. And you do that by eliminating 90% of the carbohydrates out of your diet. So the ketogenic lifestyle is a high fat, moderate protein, low fat eating style. Ideally, I'm going to digress here just a little bit, Steve, because I want the folks watching to understand what.
Just gonna say, if I interrupt for a second,
Yes.
digression is how the Dirt Show works.
All right,
So
great.
you do what you need to do.
Great. Okay, so I don't know, 45, 50 some odd years ago, a couple of really brilliant scientists came up with what we call the standard American diet. Okay, if you go back and look, and I'm not going to go crazy with all the research and all the citations right now, but basically they call it the 7-country study. The 7 countries were handpicked. The study was backed by a bunch of people whose best interests were served to come up with and create the standard American diet. Okay, standard American diet was low fat, high carbohydrates, no eggs, no red meat. You guys have been, if you've been on this planet long enough, you know all the ups and downs we've gone to as far as what healthy equals. The thing that I say to everybody is just take a look around you. Go into your local mall, go into your local Starbucks, go into anywhere, your Target, and look around and to ask yourself if you believe that the standard American diet is actually working in our society, because the answer is no. And the reason for that.
I was just gonna jump in real quick.
Okay.
When you guys heard me talk about this last week, right? Maybe you thought I was pulling out of my, certified keto coach over here, saying the same thing. What she's saying, and I don't want to step on because we really need to focus on you right now. But what she's saying, the same thing that we've been saying. Look around. What do you see? Not picking on anybody, not picking on Joe G over in chat, saying every time we talk about this, he's eating pasta.
He's eating pasta again.
He's eating pasta again. So anyway, hey, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just thought I would jump in, make sure the audience knows that this is a connected thing between
Right.
the two of this. So
Right. And again, not to steal too much from the GMO conversation that you all had last week, but there are a lot of people dependent upon our carb addiction. Okay. Everyone from big pharma to General Mills, Kraft, you name it. As long as we all continue to stick carbs down our gut, down our gullet, I guess, the more that they all get to stay in business, make a lot of money. And quite honestly, it is not good for our health. What happens is it creates high blood sugar, creates what they call the metabolic syndrome, which a whole gamut of things from high blood pressure, diabetes type 2, you name it. I could go on and on, but all of this is because our bodies quite honestly weren't designed to run on glucose. They were designed to run on fat or ketones.
I see. And so when we're talking about being healthy, then we're talking about eliminating those carbs. Now, I got some other questions for you, but I just want to touch real quick. There are people who are talking about these carbs or pastas, things like that, bread products, grains and stuff, that we're saying stop eating it. But then they're saying, well, hey, people in Europe are eating and they're living to be 1,000,000 years old. What is the difference then between the grains and things like that here and then let's say someplace like Europe? Why would there be a difference there?
You talk to anybody who's gone to Italy, who's gone to the Mediterranean and had the foods that are there, they will talk to you about how the breads taste differently, the pastas taste differently. We've got to always do something with it in America. We have to enrich our flour. We have to iodize our salt. We have to, and what we do basically is we strip what started out as a natural food and we modify it, and not genetically. In this instance, it's really just either modifying it to meet some FDA regulations or to make it cheaper to produce, longer to store, easier to prepare, and cheaper. Okay, because again, then the mass audience in America can eat all of my pasta that I create, and I get to make money, they get to get sick, and America's capitalism just sort of keeps in a big round cycle.
Along those lines, actually, let me introduce something else here. I was talking to the little schmoes that I work with at lunch today, and as they were ordering tortillas and stuff for the Mexican food we were having, which, by the way, you'd be proud of me, I had chicken and salad, no grains, no beans. Hey, I knew you were coming on the show. I want to suck up. I want to suck up a little bit. Anyway, so I told these guys, hey, there's a dog barking.
Oh, imagine that.
But the funny thing is, it's barking in my studio and your studio.
Good times.
Wow, it's like a parallel universe. That's a different episode. Anyway, so as they were ordering, I was going. He said, "I'd like the flour tortilla." I just said to him, "Death."
Oh, I love it.
And then he said, "I want the mac and cheese." Death.
I missed the whole slow, painful death after 30 to 40 years of chronic pain and discomfort.
Right. And that's one of the things that I was talking to them about. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, okay? Because I'm not the certified keto coach, although I am certified.
You're getting really good at it, babe.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, check me out. I keep banging my head into this thing. Moving on. So I told them, though, that this stuff is that bad for us, but nobody talks about it. And the reason they don't talk about it is because somebody has to make us sick so somebody can make us better.
Well, yes.
So if there's a cure right now for something, why wouldn't they come up with it right now? I mean, we're all about the American people. And so I have my topic. Yeah. Right. I have my take on that.
Yes.
And if that's something you want to address, then fine. Otherwise, we can move on to something else.
Well, and I guess before we get into anything deeper, because I know we're going to talk about some other aspects of the ketogenic lifestyle, but guys, I'm just going to, please don't take my word for it. Do your research. It's nothing's worse than someone blindly listen to someone, a talking head, speak and take everything that they say as, the gospel truth. But for instance, in the last week or so, we just saw a study come out from a Harvard professor that basically says coconut oil is poison. Okay, well, coconut oil is one of the sort of the stale, one of the main parts of a ketogenic lifestyle. It's medium chain triglycerides, 3 of the 4 like critical amino acids you need. So of course the entire community, as well as sort of the world at large, went, what? If you dig deeper, you will find that Harvard professor's sponsors for that study included Merck, they included AstraZeneca, and 3 other big pharma companies. So as you're doing your research and as you're saying to yourself, wow, Cyndi is making some valid points, but I'm not just going to take her word for it. Start looking to see who is sponsoring the study and make your decisions based on that.
And I agree with that completely. Some of the stuff I was talking about last week, again, just in my fledgling attempt, I was saying, look, just type it into Google. You don't have to trust me on this. This isn't a conspiratard moment. It is what it is. Hey, over here in the chat, I'm going to pop that screen up for a second, Miss Cyndi. Over in chat, like I said, Joe G feels like every time we talk about this, I'm eating pasta. I told Joe, based on what you're saying, pasta from Europe's okay. Eat the pasta. Enjoy the pasta from the Europe. And then Bobby's who's with us.
Hi, Bobby.
My friend Bobby. Bobby says, Amazon. Well, duh. I was talking to somebody, Cyndi, you can jump in on this in a second, but I was talking to somebody that's a doctor. It was a friend of mine's doctor said, if you want to eat pasta and stuff, you got to get it from Europe. You have to have it shipped in. That's all there is to it.
Right.
I mean, is that something that you've seen and experienced, or you have anything that you want to share?
I have. Well, again, I think we're going to talk a little further about how to sort of create a keto lifestyle. If you're normally right now eating PB&Js with a bag of chips for lunch, and we can kind of address it there.
Okay. All right. Very good. Oh, by the way, at the end of, I keep doing that. At the end of the broadcast, make sure you start putting some comments down here at the bottom. I'm going to share those with Cyndi, and Cyndi can respond to them. And actually, she's going to be reposting a version of this on her channel. You can go over and comment there too. Don't forget, Everybody Keto on YouTube. Links in the description. Cyndi, I've got another question for you.
Okay.
It's I dabble in the keto thing, right? I mean, the last thing that I actually gave up that was very difficult was, of course, drinking beer. And because I like me some MGDs, I'm not ashamed of it. But, there's grains, processed grains, and there's grains. So
Correct.
I had to give that up. I had to give up tortillas. I had to give up. There's this awesome bean and cheese burrito that this place makes by my Yorba Linda job site. I can't eat it anymore. So there's all these things I've had to cut out.
Right.
So what do you say to those people that say, if you want to do this, you've got to give up all this stuff. And what am I getting for it? Wow, it seems like it's harder to do than just doing what I'm doing because hey, the FDA says it's okay. What do you think?
Right. Great question. I'm going to start with anything seems harder to give up when it's in your head. I don't know if any of you guys have had kind of food allergies or any type of reasons where you need to sort of stay away from food, even if you're on a crash diet or whatever the case may have been. And you're like, okay, I can't, but once this date is over and I can do whatever, I'm going to get that bean and cheese burrito. And if any of you are like me, you will realize that within the first bite or two, the actual taste of that meal is nothing compared to where it was in your head. Okay, so let's start there. And let's talk about what happens if you don't give up the carbs. Okay, what happens if you become pre-diabetic or you become type 2 diabetic. You're going to have to cut those foods out anyways. You're going to have to cut out all sugars and you're going to have to do it instantaneously. Okay, so I think as a society, we need to start to get back to the concept that food is a tool and a power source for us and not an emotional crutch. We've put a lot into food. We talk about like family gatherings and all of the great commercials, the Hallmark commercials you see are all, families gathering around a table, and that's great. But we can also feed our health while we're eating it. And trust me, guys, I was a salt and sweet kind of person, so Chips Ahoy cookies, Lay's potato chips. But I can tell you that in the time that I've been doing the keto living style, and I don't call it a diet because quite honestly, guys, once you once you begin to learn and to feel what your body feels like when it's actually burning fat and ketones like it's meant to be, you will never want to put another bite of that kind of food in your mouth, because you don't ever want to stop feeling the way that you feel. There's no, the brain fog that you have is gone. The 3 o'clock snack attacks you have are gone. Because you're eating foods that are higher in fat, it keeps you satisfied longer, so you're not hungry. In fact, a lot of my clients, a lot of my experience with the people that I'm, do this kind of communicate with is it going to be a bad thing if I don't eat everything that's sort of on my meal plan because I'm just not hungry? Now, I can tell you 3 years ago, 5 years ago, I never once said I'm just not hungry. In fact, I'm going to just share one little anecdotal story with you. A colleague of mine, I was at his office probably 7-8 months or so ago. And I didn't realize at the time, but he was doing keto. Well, it's kind of one of things that kind of come alongside keto sometimes is intermittent fasting, which is where there's a window of a day that you don't actually eat. And he was talking about doing like 18-hour, 24-hour, and even sometimes 36-hour water fasts. At the time, I thought he was nuts, because I thought there is no way in the world I could go 6 hours without eating. Okay. Well, now I am not at a 36-hour water fast yet. I don't think that my body needs that, but I am regularly, like 5 to 6 days a week, doing what we call a 16-8 fast, which is 16 hours of every day I eat nothing, and 8 hours of every that day is my eating window. Mm-hmm. And so 6 months ago, I didn't think it was possible. Today, I'm doing it and not even thinking about it.
Outstanding. While you were talking about that, there's a couple of things that came into chat that maybe you want to address with me right now. One of them actually is a reference to to your other channel, and one of them is in reference to exactly what you were just talking about. Over in chat right now, I'm going to bring that window up. Over in chat right now, Bobby is asking, of the clothing subscription services, which do you recommend? Now, I understand it's off topic, and that's not where we're going right now. But what the heck? You got somebody asking. You want to like 10 seconds on that, or 5 seconds?
Gosh, that's a hard question, because I love all clothes. But I would say, as far as consistency and variety, I would go Trunk Club.
Trunk
from
Club.
Nordstrom's.
Trunk Club it is. And okay.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah. But no, anyway, I just figured we'd include everybody. But here's a question that Joe G, not a question, a statement that Joe G's making. It says, it is hard to give up things, especially when you eat with a group of people and everybody's eating what you can't. Now, you recently ran into that scenario, I think, with somebody, right?
I run into it all the time. And so, again, first and foremost, when you start the keto diet, you're gonna look like me. You're gonna have sort of this boundless energy. And so, as those people are stuffing their bread and the pasta in their mouth, they're gonna be like, "What are you doing?" A, B, we all have things like that. I'm sure you know someone who's got a peanut allergy or a fish allergy, or they can't eat grain, whatever it is. They're more and more prevalent. And again, that goes way more to the whole GMO modified stuff. So we're not going to talk much about that, but it happens. You have somebody who's diabetic, so they can't have the chocolate cake with sugar on it. It's just, we just sort of roll with it, quite honestly. And to be honest, keto is a booming industry right now. And there are some things that people love. They have a hard time giving up. So we the keto community, there's a lot of what we call keto hacks. Okay, so keto substitutions. So instead of using enriched white flour for a recipe, we're going to use almond flour. Instead of using, sugar, we use some type of a sweetener. So if there's really something that you're like, gosh, I don't know how I'm going to survive without that, trust me, I tell you that there's a keto hack for that. There's keto bread, there's keto pasta, there's keto chocolate, you name it. Now, again, it's not going to taste 100% like what you remember it to be. But again, it would be like if you went to Italy and got a pizza, you're going to be like, wow, this doesn't quite taste like
it tastes
the
different,
pizza
right?
I get from Round Table.
Right. It's like it's still pizza, but why is this better? Why does it seem better? It's interesting that our friend Bobby, again, if I can just jump back over to our chat room for a second, he makes something that you can weigh in on. Bobby said, so the fasting she's talking about, we believe is better than the keto for us. So Cyndi, but before you answer, I'm just going to say, on the one hand, we're saying keto baby, And that's what it is with occasional fasting, right? Bobby's saying he's believing the fasting is going to kick keto's butt. So I don't know. How do you, where do you come down on that?
There are two camps on that. There's different types of keto. There's what we call cyclical carb keto, where on, I don't know, every third, fifth, seventh day, you'll cycle in some carbs. I believe it depends on quite honestly on your metabolism. For most people, actually sort of depleting the carbs helps with a gamut of health maladies, everything from bloating and like bad gut bacteria and stomach aches. Like probably a month or so ago, I actually walked away from dairy, and to say that out loud is just, it's almost like I'm, hi, I'm Cyndi.
Who walks away from dairy?
I did. And I
God.
feel 100% better because, guys, in my bathroom cabinet, I have a bottle of Gas X, the Tums or whatever that always have to be there because whatever it may be, something's going to give me stomach. I can tell you, eating a no carb diet, those stomach aches are completely gone. Now, Bobby, yes, there are some people who don't do the low carb, but they do the intermittent fasting, and in some ways they do replicate one another because they both lower the incidence of your insulin spikes, so they control your blood sugar. They allow your sort of cells to regenerate. I have found though that if you're looking for relief from ailments, okay, not just sort of, you're already pretty healthy and you just want to sort of take to that next level, that's where a lot of guys just do straight intermittent fasting. There's nothing wrong with either one of them. Again, there are, a million weight programs or a million ways of eating out there. For kind of me and my research, for keto and intermittent fasting kind of go hand in hand.
Outstanding. Hey, by the way, for those of you joining us in the broadcast, we've got Cyndi Brown, certified keto coach. I'm looking at Cindy's camera right now. Hi, Cyndi, I'm back. Hey, Cyndi Brown, certified keto coach, here live from her studio in Uzbekistan, taking your questions, telling us what she knows about keto. And again, just to get you all caught up, I've seen the difference it makes in energy level, in body composition. Hey, Cyndi, I'm going to throw this out at you real quick. I watched some of your shows, obviously, on Everybody Keto. And so I thought, actually, I'll tell you the truth, it's the cancer thing. The cancer thing is what got me. So I started cutting all that out. And once I cut the beer out, all of a sudden, I actually, it's bizarre. I've got like 6-pack abs, and I don't work out. It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if you've got an all male lines because I can't see your chat, but I'm sure if you guys are hooked up in any way with a woman and you guys try to lose weight at the same time, you know how frustrating it is for us women, because we look at a donut and like gain 3 pounds, and you guys say, "Oh, I'm going to stop eating a donut," and you lose 5 pounds in 4 days. Yeah, Steve, stomach completely gone. It's pretty impressive. Now, isn't that funny how we got this circle back around on you?
It's my show, lady. All right.
True.
It always circles. Did you guys ever miss the I'm the most interesting man? I'm looking at you again. Sorry, guys. You guys ever see the I'm the most interesting man episode? It's true. But Cindy's better looking. Hey, I've got a question from you from chat. Cloverdale Rail is here. Amazing. Another model railroader. Yes! I do the shout out thing, but I already did it. Cloverdale Rail is saying this. How long has keto been around? I mean, because people, here's why I throw this in. People say is Atkins, keto, same thing. Weight Watchers is the cure for cancer. What do you think?
The ketogenic lifestyle has been, the ketogenic way of eating has been around since the 1920s. Doctors in the 20s actually recommended and tested a high-fat, moderate-protein, low-carb diet for young epileptics, and found that it indeed brought their seizure, both the magnitude of the seizures and the repetition of the seizures way, way down. I can tell you, to be honest, I have been on a weight battle my entire life. And there was a company called Lindora that I believe may still be around. But I probably went there 20 years ago as one of my many, get thin, quick things. And they put me
Things.
They put me on a ketogenic lifestyle back then. I wasn't ready for it, and I wasn't committed to it. But I remember going in and, every couple days and being on a stick. So since it's not a new fad diet, and let me just talk real quickly about the difference between Atkins and keto.
Please.
Because I get that a lot. People are like, oh my God, you're going to have renal failure. Oh my God, your kidneys. Oh my God. Atkins, Nutrisystem, Jenny Craig, all of those sort of eating plans, meal plans, did not take into consideration the need for healthy fats. Okay, so gallstones developed, and Atkins specifically, because Atkins was basically like all protein, nothing else. In fact, if I remember, again, did that too. The induction phase of Atkins for like the first week or 2 weeks was literally all meat and cheese. Like you didn't have vegetables, you didn't have a salad, you didn't have any of that kind of stuff.
Well, if I can just jump in real quick, but that's one of the things that we're talking about with like a keto thing, right? Is the meats and cheese and cutting out all the other crap. I think that's where people might get confused on.
They do.
Well, this is just Atkins.
Meats and cheese. That's kind of where you need to sort of keep in mind the moderate protein. We want to put our emphasis on the healthy fats being introduced to the diet. Healthy fats include avocados, olives, olive oil,
right?
Avocado oil. All of that good kind of stuff, all the good fats from cheeses. But just to not get real crazy, but what we do when we help someone create a ketogenic meal plan is we create what we call their macros. And their macros is their ratio of fats, proteins. What are you doing over there? Fats, proteins, and sorry about that. And carbs. I got
what you don't realize right now, Ms. Brown, is that
they're only seeing me.
They're only seeing you. So
Gotcha.
if I'm making myself a new uncoupler tool while I'm listening to
I
you,
saw that in the corner of my eye. Sorry.
they
guys.
don't freaking need to know it. I'll never have you back on my show.
Okay,
all right.
no worries. No worries.
Back to you.
Yes, we create macros, which is short for macronutrients, which helps our clients understand what percentage of fat, protein, and carbs they need to have every day to sort of enhance and be ultimate on their keto.
Outstanding. So what does all that mean? I don't know what it means. I know what it means. You guys have any more questions? Because I got some more. I've got some questions for Cyndi Brown. Hello. They're locking up on us. Mrs. Brown. Well, okay. So anyway,
they're so overwhelmed and amazed.
They are overwhelmed and amazed. Now here's the thing. We don't have time to talk about a specific thing I'm going to say right now because there's other things I want to cover with you right now.
Okay.
But there is documented evidence. I'll get your intake on this, all right? Documented evidence. People switching over. I'll tell you what. No one ever was cured of cancer, muscular sclerosis, autism, anything, by going to Atkins. You've never heard of it. Right?
No.
But with this keto system, now the naysayers can say what they want to say, but my studies, my research says that when this happens, all these things happen. In my own case, more energy when I get up, better thought clarity. I wasn't too sick to begin with, but and like I said, 6-pack abs. I can go for days.
Alzheimer's. We haven't talked about the effect of sugar on Alzheimer's.
And that's the thing. We'll just wrap that up because there's a couple other significant things I want to ask you that are sort of less on the technical.
Let's just put it this way. There is so much out there kind of combating our bodies at this point in time. The one thing that we can control is what we put in our mouths.
But some of us can't control what comes out of our mouth. But these are jokes. Hey, Cyndi, if I can jump over to chat, we got another good question being beamed in.
All right.
Cloverdale asked a good question, in my opinion. It says, does the diet change from one person to the next? What do you think about that? Is it a different diet from person to person?
Okay, well, first of all, I hate the word diet. I'm not going to lie to you. Diet is,
agreed, by the way.
Indicates deprivation, etc. So we're going to call it way of eating. We call it a WOE, W-O-E, way of eating. And while the way of eating won't necessarily change as far as what you can eat and what you can't eat, based on what you're trying to do, whether you want to lose weight, you just want to be healthy, you want to be a little toned, your macronutrients will change. So one person may be able to have 27 grams of protein in a day, and another person may have 23. But there's a kind of a specific formula that takes in, again, your weight, your height, what your activity level is, what your goal is. Do you want to lose 50 pounds, or do you just want to be able to walk upstairs without, running out of breath?
I feel you on that. And, that's funny. Between, let's say, you and I, I'm not doing anything keto-wise for my weight. That's not why I did it. I told everybody last week I've got my 100th birthday party coming up. At that party, we're announcing my 150. I'm not gonna die, baby. So that's for me. So there's that aspect of it, being healthy, living a long time. But then there's also a weight component. Now I touched on it with me a little bit, but I just want to touch on it with you just a little bit, if I can. Because from we run into each other time to time at Starbucks or, in Hawaii and Maui, baby, or something like that. And what I've noticed is, and in our conversations, you made the keto lifestyle your lifestyle.
Right.
And you didn't sign up for a gym membership. You're not running around the block every morning. But I see this night and day difference in just your, what I like to politically correct say, body composition. How do you feel about that? I mean, is that a focus of keto? I'm going in to lose weight, or is I'm going in to be healthy?
The natural byproduct of a ketogenic way of eating is shedding the excess pounds, because it's kind of heady, so I'm going to try not to get too heady with you guys. But if you've ever tried to light a fire and you light it with like little twigs, or you light it with logs, you guys know what happens. Little twigs, they burn up real fast and then they're done. Same thing, that's glucose versus fat. So what happens is you are actually training your body to burn on fat. So what it does in those times when you're fasting or between meals is it will actually use your fat stores to create energy. So weight loss is almost a natural byproduct of the ketogenic lifestyle. And so that is immediately what attracts people, because they'll see these before and after pictures where in 6 months someone's dropped 70 pounds or 80 pounds. That's
well,
it's a focus. If the weight is a health issue, then the weight loss needs to be a focus. But people do the ketogenic lifestyle for a lot of other reasons besides weight loss.
I agree. And you and I have both done independent and then, of course, collective research on this. But a pretty sensitive question is being asked in chat right now. And if I go over to chat again real quick, Cloverdale Rail says, you keep touching on autism. My 30-year-old son is autistic. This couldn't be a cure for him. Now, before you answer, Cynthia, you're not a medical professional.
Right, we're not doctors. Right?
I'm not a medical professional. But we have seen, and you can elaborate on this, all right? Let me just do my thing, just so I look like I know what I'm talking about. We've seen evidence of autistic children, let's say the one that couldn't talk. If you guys get the chance to watch The Magic Pill on Netflix. The trailer is on YouTube, The Magic Pill. And this is just what we've seen, okay? Kid hadn't spoken ever, was autistic. After, I think, don't quote me, I think it's 3 weeks in a ketogenic lifestyle, spoke his first word for his very first time. His parents were crying. I was crying. When Cyndi watched it, she was crying. I mean, and it just kind of makes sense to us without going into a lot of technical detail, because I'm not a technical guy. The proof's in the pudding. Cyndi, what do you think?
I would say, again, not a doctor, just like Steve, obviously not a doctor. There are doctors who understand the benefits, and they're not. I'm trying to figure out a really nice way not to call out doctors. They're not heavily influenced by big pharma. Okay, so they're going to talk to you a little bit more about your diet and what you're actually putting in your system, as opposed to just simply writing a prescription. So what I would say is to search for one of those doctors. I can I'll have Steve put down a link. There's a couple websites online that will like talk like keto friendly diets. Doctors, I know there's like paleo doctors online. Someone like that could definitely do some of the blood work that your family, your son, I think was what you said, Steve, needs, and see if that's a thing. I know we talked a little more about Alzheimer's than we did about autism, but carbohydrates do some strange things when they create like the plaque that people they're finding in brains of Alzheimer's patients. In fact, there's something that is called exogenous ketones, which are therapeutic ketones, which you can drink without necessarily having to be on the ketogenic diet if you don't want to be, or if you feel like someone's in a medical state where they can't maybe conform to that type of a diet. And we're seeing mental clarity and mental fog lifting in. They may not quite be diagnosed with Alzheimer's, but it's sort of that forgetfulness, lack of drive, brain fog. Just drinking exogenous ketones once or twice a day is sort of clearing that fog in like middle age to older age people.
Well, I think you bring up a good point that I'd like you to elaborate on a little bit, because I think you have a recent personal example of this. But let's just say I go to the doctor with a broken arm. He does x-rays and says, boom, Bob's your uncle, and he fixes my arm. You go to the doctor with a blood pressure problem, and the doctor says, here's a pill. You go to the doctor with a child that you suspect of autism, here's the routine to deal with, basically,
right,
an autistic child. But what I already know the answer, but what question are they not asking their patients? Tell me.
Doctors are not asking their patients about their diets. And there's a couple of reasons for that. If you look at the average medical internship, the average up-and-coming doctor gets 4 hours of nutrition training in their residency. 4 hours. So they don't know. They don't know the right questions to ask. And they again, you mentioned we have an example. There's a member of my family who they've just put her on a higher level of blood pressure medication now. And I just asked her, I said, what did they ask you to do as far as dietary changes? And she was like, well, they haven't. I said, did he at least talk to you about what it is that you're eating? Not even the question that was asked. So again, I don't want, to be like, oh, she's, gives doctors a bad rap, because there's a bunch of really great doctors out there, but there's a lot of pressures on them to do, sort of the standard American diet, follow all that type of stuff, and to provide prescription medication for Americans.
I feel you. And that's the same experience I've had. I just want to jump back into chat for just 1 second.
Okay.
Because a friend of mine is over there, Cloverdale Rail. He's one of my Reverend buddies. And over in chat, and by the way, I'm cool with you bringing this kind of stuff up. It needs to be talked about. He says, my son did not speak a word until 3 years old, went to preschool, and 1 month he was speaking and reading. It's tough for him to buy into this. By this, I presume you're talking about the keto thing, and that's cool and all. But Cyndi, here's, I guess, what I want to throw out, and that is, this is, from what I've seen, this is the evidence that we've seen. It doesn't mean this one thing will fail. Let me roll back real quick, and I'm going to just open you up again, okay? Let's just go to the ugly Darth Vader deal, okay? I've got cancer, and cancer's eating away half my liver. A ketogenic lifestyle is not going to replace the half of my liver that's dead. It's just gone. So this isn't like a cure for everything, right? And I think, and again, I'd like you to elaborate on this. This is sort of this is the direction things are heading. This is a way to keep these kind of things from happening and allow your body to do whatever it's going to do, right? To fix whatever needs to be fixed. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's preventative for sure. We are ultimately responsible for our bodies, and if there's, again, what I like to tell people is give it a month. Spend a month without carbohydrates and see if you see any kind of difference. Odds for me are going to be that yes, there are. But if If it was just as simple as taking something out of your diet that you eat now that would take away some of the maladies that you face, wouldn't you want to try it?
That makes obviously it makes sense to me. I'm going to agree with that. It's worth a shot. And I just want to tell the people watching the show right now, please understand, this is not a preach the keto gospel.
No.
This is not I will lay my hands on animal fat and you will be healed. It's not that. What we even try to do here on the Dirt Show, and Cyndi is being kind enough to help us with that, is expose us to new ways of thinking about this and more information that's out there than actually what we're being told. Now, Cyndi and I know are in agreement on this. If what I'm doing makes you sick and what I'm doing gives you the cure, why would we ever introduce anything where you don't need to get sick and you don't need my cure? Why? Why would I? So again, you guys over there are asking some incredible questions and making some great comments in chat. But please, and we are not, Cyndi, we're not arguing with them. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying let's keep this discussion going. So anyway, Cyndi, we're getting close to running out of time.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's a great conversation that we're having. Holy crap, I didn't expect this. This is great. This is just how we roll. Anyway, I got two things I want to cover with you really quickly.
Okay.
And one of them is, and unfortunately they got to be quick. Okay.
Yeah.
The first thing is this. What do you say? Well, I think you already addressed this, but I just elaborate on when people say keto is bad for you. Like, don't do the keto diet. You'll kill yourself.
Right.
What do you say to those people?
They haven't done their homework. Again, they're thinking it's Atkins. They're thinking it's, it's going to cause kidney problems and liver problems. And if anything, it does the opposite for that. So, and again, there are those people who want to push out a social platform of, carbohydrates, no carbohydrates being bad for you because they have a stake in the game that is carbohydrates.
I'm sorry. I'm still distracted by chat. Cyndi, when this thing goes live later on, I think you ought to go back through and just look at some of the chat because there's some good stuff here that I just don't know if we have the time to hit tonight.
Okay. No, definitely. I would love to.
It's pretty strong. As a matter of fact, normally the show is pretty sarcastic and ranty, and I'm actually getting kind of a little choked up that there's some serious stuff being discussed here this evening. It's kind of hard to make a joke. You guys are killing my show.
Well, guys, our health should be a serious topic. We spent far too long sort of like, I'm going to, my first 30 years? I think it's a song by Tim McGraw where he talks about basically like, he eats too much, he drinks too much, or whatever. It's like, but the next 30 years, I'm going to do all the things right. Well, what if we can do both?
Right. Why not? Who says it's got to be? Okay, I got one more question I'm going to ask you, but I'm going to detour really quick. There's stuff that I cut out of my diet, right? Because I couldn't eat anymore. My beautiful wife, who I've been married to for eternity, came up with solutions. Like, we have a different kind of pizza crust made out of cauliflower. I would know the difference. She made me tacos. The taco shells are kind of a burnt-ish cheese. I'm looking at you again instead of the audience. Hey, audience. There's all these things that I'm not making a sacrifice. It tastes really good, and the energy level and everything I have, proof's in the pudding. Anyway, Cyndi, I got one more for you. Because quite frankly, I want people to know who you are and what you do. You're a certified keto coach. It's my understanding you've just launched a new website.
Yes.
And there's keto coaching sort of services, or I don't really fully understand what that means.
Yeah, well, again,
why don't you talk about that?
Since keto is sort of exploding, everybody has a different take on it. Like, here's what you can have when you fast. You can't have that. If you put wheat in any of your recipes, it's not ketogenic. So there's a lot of information out there. And the last thing you want to do is sort of put your, bet on this horse, and it's not the right horse. So the ketogenic coaching program is a lot like a physical trainer. Okay. You can go to the gym all by yourself every single day. But I found for me, when I was working with a trainer, there was accountability there there was expertise there, and there was guidance there. So he helped me do all the exercises right. He figured out what weight I needed to do. And he was the guy who told me when I just couldn't do it, that there were 2 more in me, that I could lift 2 more times. That's what I do as a ketogenic living coach, is I help you every step of the way. Like I go through, and again, create your macros. We talk about what are those things that you are really having a hard time giving up, and let's find substitutes. Let's find keto hacks for those. And that's where the Keto Coach comes in, is you kind of come alongside someone on their journey, usually for the first 7 or 8 weeks or so, and then like a little baby birdie in a nest, they're ready to go on their own.
A little baby birdie. You know, Cyndi actually did that sort of same thing for me. I heard about it. Can I eat this? Can't I eat that? I feel like, you know, I want to have a beer day or something. And so having a coach sort of steer you in that direction, and then sort of encourage too. It's like it's not so much like an Alcoholics Anonymous thing, but it can be. We Americans, we dig our food, human beings, and we're programmed to eat a certain thing. So that's pretty tough. Well, listen, hey Cyndi, thank you so much for being on our show tonight.
I really appreciate it. I appreciate the comments and the interaction, guys. And yeah, thank you again so much for having me.
Well, I gotta tell you, you're welcome, by the way. But you really classed up the act quite a bit. It was either doing this episode or talk about my snowshoe cross country marathon, which I haven't even, it's not even a thing. I just made that up. Anyway, again, you guys, Cyndi Brown, Everybody Keto. Down in the description, click over there, take you over there. You can make more comments in this video or the one she's going to post up over there. That's an excerpt of this. Seriously, don't have all the answers, mostly into encouraging you guys to get it done. Am I right, Cyndi, or am I right?
Definitely.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for bringing your beautiful little self in from the cold in Uzbekistan. And,
well, thank you again for having me.
Have a good night.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye. Well, there you go. Cyndi Brown, certified keto coach, on my broadcast. That's right. Hey, I got to tell you guys there over in chat, seriously, you didn't fail me. These are the kind of questions that, see, we ask them. Now, if we got answers, we got answers. If we don't have answers, we ask the questions, and we see where we go from there. So I appreciate the honesty that some of us in the railroad world, and even Bobby, by the way, whole new level of interaction that is much appreciated. I appreciate that kind of trust over here at the live broadcast. Hey, listen, again, real quick before we start wrapping this up. We do this show every night, Thursday night, every night. We do the show live. 7 p.m. every Thursday. This is the kind of stuff I want to talk about. I got some UFO stuff I want to do, by the way, because I'm a conspirator. But overall, you know, I do enough joking around in my life, and sometimes I just want to talk about crap that really freaking matters. Right, wrong, or otherwise. And so that's what this show is about. So Thursday nights, don't forget Sunday night, 6 p.m., Screw Football, baby. Supposedly chic, dirt chic, unscripted. Me and Cyndi there, we're going to be on that. So I guess that's it for tonight's broadcast. Damn, it was good to have you guys here. This was a good show. Great guests. We got some great stuff coming up next week. So listen, this is what we do here. If you haven't subscribed, you might as well do it now. Push the button, people. Don't forget to connect with us on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget to miss all the other Dirt Guy Media shows we do during the course of the week. But until next time, minus Steve Brown, I'm the Dirt Guy. Make it a great day, people, and I'll talk to you later.